I want to continue from where I left off last week, where I was talking about certainty and how we have, as we become more aware into the true nature of ourselves and the world, that we realize that we have less certainty than maybe we thought we did, and how we tell ourselves a story that we know what's going to happen when maybe we really don't. Now, we can increase the odds of a comfort zone, and we can do things in the same way, increasing our odds that likely the same thing will happen, but we never really know. And when we start getting out of our comfort zone, which, these videos often encourage people to do, when we start getting out of our comfort zone and more into the unknown, which is where all the good stuff happens, we have even less certainty. Okay, now you add to that what's going on as far as the world changing, what's going on politically and in the world, less certainty, more unknown. So the world is changing so fast, that it's tough to know what's gonna happen. And we may be changing fast, and we may be becoming less codependent, where we're less trying to change other people and protect other people, like do things so we don't freak other people out. We've become less codependent. All of these things, less certainty, less control, and it can lead to more insecurity because we are conditioned to rely on things outside of us, and rely on things and on people outside of us, rely on career and job. Now, obviously, some of that is practical. It's good to have some security, some external security in your life. It's good to have some stability in your life, for sure. However, the extent that we are reliant on things and people outside of us is not a natural way of being, if you will. So the crazier the world gets outside of us, the less codependent we are, the less controlling that we are, the less we allow things to unfold, is the other thing I talk about, is rather than controlling the outcome, allowing things to unfold. Again, less control, less certainty. And if we're reliant on things outside, we feel less certain. We're kind of sitting in our hands, and it's like, well, what do I do now if I'm not trying to control everything and just allowing things to happen? It's kind of scary. So what we can do is we can, I like the metaphor this time of year, it's been coming to me in my meditations, is how a tree's energy, go in the summer, it's in its leaves and it's growing, and in the winter it kind of goes down into the earth, into the roots, and that's where its energy stays. It's kind of dormant in a way. It's going deep inside, and that's what we can do when things are not reliable outside. We can go inside and that's where our resources are, when we're in ourselves, when we're in our body, okay, and we're not activated or triggered. We're in our body, and we can go down inside ourselves. Meditations that are great for this is like going deep into the earth. Some of the shamanic meditations that go into the lower world, some folks call it that, or the tree meditation where we're going into our roots are going into the earth, and we're laying on the earth. My teacher used to say, my roots go to the center of the earth. It goes way deep, and those are great because we're going deep inside ourselves, and when we're in our body, in our depth, if you will, that's where all our resources are. That's where our intuition is, our discernment, our ability to trust ourselves, we can access clarity with our third eye, and we can all of our gifts, all of our spiritual gifts, and all of our medicines, if you will. They use the native term for spiritual gift is our medicine to the people. those all are accessed from in our depth. And so when we're in our depth, and then we have access to our resources. And the more we do that, the more resilient we are of when things go become less reliable outside of us. And so if you're in your depth and you stay, I call it, staying resourced, and you stay in your resources, you stay in your body, and you stay in your depth, and you find a way to go back there, and life spins you out, you go back inside again, over and over, doing your grounded meditations or whatever it is you do, dancing, listening to music, doing shamanic journeys. Yoga is great to stay in your body, or whatever practice you do. You do that, stay resource, stay in your body, and then your energy is grounded, and the world and people outside of you can be, really frightened and going crazy, and the sky is falling, and, all kinds of wild things happening. And it's really, there's a lot of that going on right now. I'm a therapist. I'm a spiritual coach. So there's just been a lot. The other thing that's happening right now is it seems like people this winter are really having some of their deeper emotional and spiritual issues are coming up for them, which is really cool as far as healing, some deep healing, but that can put you through some major changes too. So if you just stay with it, stay resourced, stay in your body, and do some kind of practice. I really recommend that your spiritual practice has some element of depth and going into the earth and staying grounded and growing roots, and because then the world can be uncertain, and the world can be going crazy. It can be unreliable, and people that you were counting on can do weird things. Sometimes people that can get into these times where they're going through deep changes, or there's uncertainty out in the world, and people that you're relying on can be less reliable. You may have noticed. Doesn't mean that they're not good people or not good friends, but so there it is. You go inside, and so the world can be just kind of getting less and less reliable, going crazy, people doing crazy stuff, and you can be just resourced, you're grounded. And in my culture, we call it buffalo medicine, right? I mean, it's like 4 feet on the 4 hooves on the earth. It's, always connected to the earth. It's that buffalo medicine is reliable and consistent and perseverant and steadfast. And it's like we can find that buffalo energy, that buffalo medicine inside of us, and then we walk with that. And then the gift we offer when we come from that place is when we go out into that crazy world or at workplace or whatever it is we carry that with us. And we can provide this grounding and kind of, I call it anchoring for the people we interact with. And energetically, we anchor the people and the experiences that we're in. So everyone's freaking out. You've got your buffalo medicine. You're in your body. You're in your depth. And you can just, not that it's not scary, but it just is like you're just kind of drinking it. And so tell me what's going on. Tell me what's going on. And not as, you don't have to be their counselor or their therapist, just as a friend. It's like, or your workplace is freaking out. It's like, oh my God, the sky's falling and this is going to hell, and we can't run. It's like, okay, well, tell me what's going on, and let's just allow this in, and your energy is just calm. It's anchored. It's grounded. And then that energy, you're supplying that to everyone you interact with. And what a gift to offer people. And you can, through being with you, they can learn to access that in themselves. And it's like, let's just take a breath here. Let's just take a breath. Maybe stop short of doing whatever. Some workplaces are doing guided meditations or smudging together or whatever else. Maybe that's a little woo for your workplace. I don't know. But it's like, but even energetically, you're just inviting people to just, let's take a breath and let's just look at what's going on here. And you're extending that energy like every day. You can find that in yourself and then come from that place, so that you don't have to spin in the tornado or the hurricane that's going on, the craziness. You can just be in the eye of the storm. There's another metaphor. You can be in the eye of the storm and just holding down that, and then you can invite people to be there with you, and you can ground things so then we can, like, what makes sense here. Then we have our resources, we have our discernment, we have our intuition, we have our clarity, and we have our empathy and our compassion. And these are all things that you can't get if you're not in your body. If you're spinning with the rest of the world, you can't access those things. So then you're just saying, okay, well, let's do this and let's find our way through this situation that we've found ourselves in. So that was my video, and so I hope you enjoy your week in this mid-February, and that you find a way to get back into yourself and find some kind of practice that you can find grounding, you can anchor yourself and stay in your resources. And then if you get spun out through the day, it happens, we get activated or triggered throughout our day, find your way back. Do something that gets you back into your body, back grounded, back into your buffalo medicine once again, so you can stay resourced and walk with that for you and then offer that to your people. And I will see you in a week.